Let me basically start with our webinar series. So the agenda today is I'm going to just briefly touch base about Kloves for just 5 or 10 minutes, what we do, and then straight away jump into HR service management, then talk about facilities or service management, and then there's going to be a question-answer sessions, and then we will also share the slides later on, as Julia said, and also there's going to be a recording. So let's start with the agenda. Let's talk about Kloves for a few minutes, and then we can jump in directly there. There's going to be a lot of slides. Also, there's going to be, my objective is to do a lot of knowledge sharing. And if you have any questions, you can contact me after the webinar, or also you can send the questions later on to us at sales@klovesinc.com or julia@klovesinc.com. About Kloves Inc. So we have been a partner since 2011. We are based in Santa Clara. Office is also in Noida, India. We are a full ServiceNow shop. We have close to 100+ customers now, and some really, really big names. Lot of customers worldwide. We have executed global projects. We have executed projects in USA, which is our majority of the projects, then Australia, some in Canada, and few in Europe. The key people are in US and Australia, and of course some in India as well. And we travel all over the world for consulting work when it comes to ServiceNow. When I say full ServiceNow shop, so this is basically what we do, right? So we have done custom apps work, integration on ServiceNow platform. Of course, you have done the ITSM suite, like incident, problem change, asset discovery. You name it, we have done that many, many times. ESN is the one that is very close to my heart. I have been into IT and engineering for a long time, and this is one area that I used to, before founding Kloves, I used to work actually on that a lot. So I have a good experience there, and this is something that I'm really passionate about, which is leveraging the platform for HR, facilities, legal, and marketing. And we have many, many examples of what we have done for 100+ customers there, right? So today my focus is going to be on HR and facilities. We also do remote admin and support, like if somebody wants to buy a bucket of hours, or like just do a remote support either monthly or like quarterly basis, those kind of things. Then another thing that is very interesting that we have done is PPM, demand, vendor and contract management, GRC, orchestration, and some performance analytics. In fact, PPM and demand has been picking up a lot. We did 2 webinar series before this one on demand and PPM. And last but not the least is end user portals. Some of you may know us, we have some really beautiful portals that we have developed for customers. These are all ServiceNow, built on ServiceNow, and all the services that we are talking about today, it's all about ServiceNow. We don't do anything else. It's all about ServiceNow for us. Here's a simple project methodology, like how we like to work. So we do a kickoff. We discuss with the customers when the contract is signed. We send templates. We have a lot of templates, like how it should be done. Do a core setup, whether it's Active Directory or integration or something. And then finally, the development starts. And with development, we also do UAT, user acceptance test. And finally, once it's sign off, we prepare for go live and help our customers after they go live for in the support mode as well. In between, we also do a lot of knowledge sharing so that people who are not familiar with what we are doing can also get trained and maintain the systems from then onwards. The other thing that I want to share with you is that we also have our own app store. It's basically a demo site. You can say it has our portfolio of a lot of things that we have developed. We keep on adding different things. So let me just quickly show you that, how it looks like. So if you go to klovesinc.com and click on App Store, this is where you will see a lot of things that we have done for different customers. So this has about 30, 40 examples of what we have done. And I will be covering few later, but this is just to let you know that this is the place where we post some of the apps and some of the things that we do. So this is a good reference for people who are interested later on to see what we do. Lastly, we are hiring. We are in a very high growth mode. Last year, 2015 was 100% growth for us. We are hiring in USA and Australia, and a few positions in India as well. It's not mentioned here, but we are actively hiring in USA and Australia. So if somebody's interested, again, please email to sales or please email to julia@klovesinc.com. So that was pretty much about Kloves Inc. I hope I didn't take too much of time because I want to focus more on HR. So let's talk about the HR service management. So we have done a lot of HR service management implementation at Kloves. We have worked with ServiceNow. We have worked directly with our customers. And when we kind of summarize and we kind of look at everything that we have done in HR, there are three key priorities for HR. One is that HR is also looking for, just like IT, they want to automate the routine activities. And I'll get back, I'll get to you in the next slide what I mean by routine activities. But there are a lot of examples of, okay, I do my, like there was a survey done, and HR survey basically 1/3 of the time for HR goes into just the routine activities, just listening to customer or people's complaints, employees' complaints and requests, and try to resolve it through email, phone, personal meetings, and all that, right? So that is one thing that everyone basically, it starts from there. Okay, can we automate those routine activities? Then second thing is the content management, which is like, the policies, the knowledge base, the FAQs, and all that. How do we, is there a central place where we can put it there and people can do Google search and all that? And third is obviously the employee privacy. So when all these communications are going on, making sure that employees' data is secured, also the logs and the questions or things that they are asking, because sometimes they'll give the social security number and other personal info is also secured. And as you know, with email and like with phone calls and like meetings, it's a little difficult. So these are three core priorities. Of course, there are many more, but I'm going to focus only on these three today. So let's say, what do we mean by routine activities? And I have a lot of slides to showcase like what we have done actually and some demos, but let me just go through it. So these are like employee issues and requests. Like, for benefits, payroll deduction, there's going to be like, I want to update my W-4. I have a new bank, or I want to set up my direct deposit, or my salary or my rate change, it's not reflecting on my pay stub, right? Or bonus issues, or pay stub, like, how do I retrieve it? How do I update? How do I get my W-2? Equity stock compensation related, like, related to stocks, taxes that are withheld, the rate was different, or I want to understand what it is. ESPP, employee stock purchase plan questions, or personal information update, like, I changed my address or something. System access, like I need access to the HR system, or I lost access. Vacation leave related things, or time card related issues, and many more. So these are all routine tasks, and as I was telling you that according to an HR survey, 1/3 of the HR time actually goes into this. And that's a lot, because HR wants to like focus on employee building, the collaboration, getting the right talent and maintaining that talent. And if that takes like 1/3 of the time, so that's basically a lot. So what we do at Kloves Inc. using ServiceNow platform is to automate all these routine activities. And I'll give you some more examples and slides how we did it and what we did. But that's what it is. Other routine activities are like employee onboarding. When a new hire comes in, there is a checklist of routine tasks. Access needs to be given, laptop needs to be issued, cube needs to be built or issued, the payroll needs to be set up, the start date formalities are there, there's a lot of documentation. There is also an overview training, like the first week schedule, the 30 days, 60 days, 90 days plan. Similarly, for employee offboarding, it's the opposite of it, like termination checklist, access, return the company assets, the termination formalities basically. And the other part of the routine activities is simple and complex workflows. Like let's say if somebody is requesting for a leave, there's a workflow, who's going to approve it, when it gets approved, how early they have to submit the leave request. Same thing for travel, who's going to approve, what is the budget for it, what are the things related to travel. Training request, whether it's internal or external, again, who's going to approve it, where the budget is going to come, all that. And then the complex could be, we have seen it like a new requisition for a headcount, because that needs to get approved, then budget needs to get approved, it needs to create a rec with job description and everything else. So these are some of the routine activities that I would say for HR that takes a lot of time for HR. The other one is, as I was mentioning, the second thing is the content management. And the content management is also a big one, because what we have seen is that content basically is there in different forms. So it's in SharePoint, it's in the shared drive, and like some other places. HR, like it will be in the company intranet. So sometimes it becomes very difficult to manage that content. So what we have seen is that HR is now requesting that, hey, give us a central repository, easy one to manage our own content. That is one. And second, make it very easily accessible to the employees, right? So they have one place to go to. And ServiceNow basically offers a great platform to do that, because as you know, with the whole module, there's a knowledge base which comes, and you can basically create everything there. So I will show you some examples what we have done for that. But to summarize, you want like policies, and if you're a global company, then you want country-specific policies. Like the U.S. policies may be different than policies in China or Hong Kong or Russia. So you want a repository where that facility is there, so you can tag those or classify those policies according to the country or the location. The FAQs, the best practices, the knowledge base for self-help. And again, self-help is basically becoming more and more popular, not only in IT, but also in HR. And how do I make sure my employees, our employees, are able to help themselves on their own by looking at a knowledge base? Like, how do I retrieve my pay stub? They don't have to open a ticket or a case, right? I mean, they should be able to go to a knowledge base and say, okay, log into this site or register here and download your pay stub or W-2. Or how do I update my forms? The HR has a lot of forms. So all these forms can be updated, and they can be part of knowledge base of how to fill it. Then training. Again, training is a big thing in HR, not only during onboarding, but managers and supervisors and other people have to go through different trainings. And sometimes the training is only just a request, which is an external. But sometimes, if it's an internal training, you can leverage, like we have done that, we can leverage ServiceNow to incorporate those training. And in fact, we have done a lot of work where we have embedded the training videos. The videos are now becoming very popular, like YouTube videos or internal videos, where we can see the videos inside ServiceNow. So that's what I mean by content management. Then it's employee privacy, like, how do we protect that data? If the requests are coming by email, or in this case now, if the requests are coming by ServiceNow, how do we make sure that they're segregated and they're not mixed with IT or with some other department, or nobody else can see it? So we have done a lot of work there to protect the data, segregate the data, have a lot of policies for large companies where we have audit processes in ServiceNow in place, where if somebody is trying to get in to HR tickets or requests and trying to access, it can send an email notification. Also, the encryption is there. So if you really want, you can also encrypt that. And then basically have the controlled access and do the reporting on that. That's what basically how we can handle employee privacy. So with that, let me just show you some screenshots. And at the end of the demo, I do have some things to walk you through, like real life with the demos. But let's see some screenshots of a very large company, two large companies that we deployed HR service management. So here is a company, it's a technology company located here in Bay Area. And what this is you can see it's employee self-service portal for payroll and HR, right? And very, very simple things, like what I was talking about, like routine tasks. So this is an example of routine tasks. Benefits payroll deduction, equity stock compensation. I want to change my personal information. I have a payroll related inquiry. I have a payroll system related access inquiry or issue. I want a vacation or leave. I have a time card inquiry. I have something other, or I have payroll FAQ, right? So these are some of the routine tasks. Here is the form looks like. Like let's say if you click on benefits and payroll deductions, this will be like open for more information, select the category, short description, more information. I'm sure most of you are familiar like how ServiceNow works in IT. So similar to that. Basically, it's just a catalog item. You click on submit, and then a ticket gets generated. Ticket goes to HR in a queue, and the ticket comes to the response comes to an employee saying that okay, we have heard you. Here is your case ID, and you can track it from there. Here is an example for the FAQ. So you can see here you have US payroll FAQ and international payroll FAQ. You also have Google to kind of search in both the things. Like here you have on the left-hand side you have internationals. How do I submit my PTO request? How are my expenses reimbursed? My commission payment doesn't look correct. What is my PTO balance? If I have a payroll question, how do I get them addressed and so on? Right. On the US side, also this could be different. Like direct deposit, or how do I change my address, or PTO balance, or I want to request a time off. How do I do that? Or I forgot my user ID password. So these are some of the examples of FAQ and self-service. Here is basically the My Corner, and in this case, because we did a lot of work for this company, so we did like IT and facilities and payroll and HR. So right now you're seeing everything related to everything basically. So like my open incidents is for the IT incident, my open request is for all the IT requests. Then you have my HR/payroll cases. So if you click on that, oops, sorry, give me a second. Okay, so if you click on my HR payroll cases, then you will see all the HR and payroll related cases. If there are any requests to be approved, it will be there, my watched items, and then this shows about the facilities. So here basically the employees can go and click on HR payroll cases and track basically what is going on with their cases. So this is one example of a very large company that we did. Here is another clothing retailer, the largest, one of the largest clothing retailers worldwide. They have offices worldwide, and this is all about content management. We did a major content management for them. In fact, we were competing with SharePoint. And if some of you are considering SharePoint, then do reach out to us. We will show you the advantages of doing it on ServiceNow and then how it was selected and what we have done in detail. But here are some of the screenshots of what we have done for this large retailer. So what we have done here is, like you have a My HR, you have a Go to Work link, you have a Contact Ask HR link, and so on, right? And on the left-hand side, you have basically the examples of like My HR calendar, and we'll go through all that. But this is their main portal. And the key thing here that I also wanted to show you was that here on in the language, you have like, these are the languages that we have supported. So Chinese, German, Italian, Japanese, Polish. So this whole portal, depending on where people have logged in, is going to select in that language. And depending on the language and the location, like right now the location is US. If it was Brazil, then it will select the Brazilian Portuguese. But also, it will show only the policies related to that. So since you are in US, you can see like everything on the left, but maybe when you go to Brazil, if you log in through Brazil, then it will show you only like one or two of these, right? So and also the policies are different for them, and it's going to show you different. So that was the key feature, which is basically shown here. Also, sorry. Also, you have the search this site, which is a Google-like search. So let's see some more screenshots. Here you have basically compensation, base pay, annual incentive plan related. You have a description there. This one is related to payroll, like, enter your time, getting paid, federal tax withholding. This is about all vacation, leaves of absence, and again, very extensive. Request a leave or leave of extension, prepare for leave and take a leave, return from leave, and so on. Other time off, like, school or daycare, volunteer time, bereavement, jury duty, voting, court appearance, and so on. Career and development page, which basically talks about that. New hire onboarding, like we were talking about, like first week, 30-day, 90-day, what to expect, and so on. Performance related, like what is the performance cycle, the expectations, the objective setup, mid-year review, annual performance review. Learning and development, development planning, learning opportunities, and things like that. Employment policies, like affirmative action and classification, non-harassment and discrimination, open door security, solicitations, etc. Workplace policy, again, standard hours, alternative work hours, flexible job sharing. So basically what I'm showing you here is that how detailed the idea is that I wanted to show you here how detailed we went in. And I think this project was like 3 to 4 months, maybe a little bit more or less. But we did like every single thing that we can think of in HR. And this is all built on ServiceNow, nothing outside, right? So that was the key thing, and they're really, really happy with what we have done. Like you have here life changes, and it talks about life changes. Here is the HR calendar. So you can have like the HR calendar of these are the HR annual activities that basically HR has, right? So this was all about, so what we discussed about the HR today is that there are 3 key things: routine tasks, content management, and the privacy, right? And I showed you basically examples of like the routine tasks and FAQs and knowledge base, and also for this big retailer, I showed you basically what we have done in the content management space. And these things are really, really picking up a lot. This year, I think in 2016, HR is going to be, we're going to be doing a lot of HR because now we are getting so many requests. These things were not possible before, like other than ServiceNow, and now with ServiceNow HR module, these things are very easy to implement. So we are seeing a lot of traction there. So with that, I'm going to now cover facility slide, and then we'll go to the demo, quick demo of a few things, time permitting. So facility service management, very similar to HR, right? I mean, they also want to automate the routine activities. There's also safety and security things that they do related to the facilities. And then the last thing that they are focusing on is like building maps and moves. So I'm going to cover these 3. Again, we have done a lot of facilities work for many, many companies. I am happy to answer any questions later on. But in these ones, I'm just going to focus on these 3 things. Facilities and HR could be like a large topic, very difficult to cover in just 1 hour. But I'll try my best to focus on the major things. So what are the routine activities for facilities? Employee issues and requests, similar to HR, right? Or similar to IT. So like maintenance requests, like something is broken, like there's a toner which is broken, or a printer is broken, or projector not working, or shipping and receiving related, or I want more supplies, I want furniture to be installed, or I want an ergonomic chair, or an ergonomic evaluation done, and many more. And again, these are routine activities that are usually in large companies or in mid-sized companies. They're taken care by email, or which is like very difficult again to track. And some of these things can be easily done through ServiceNow. Then safety and security, like there is related to badging. You want a new badge, you want to activate a badge, you want to deactivate a badge, you want a room access, and room access could be like it's different from different to different companies. Like I used to work at a semiconductor company, and I was talking to the facilities there. They have a very complex workflow to give the room access. So this is a global company, has offices in Singapore, China, Taiwan, and US. And there is a clean room, right? So the clean room has basically lasers and not lasers, but like you have to like have you have to have like a training to enter into a clean room. So let's say if somebody is requesting access to a clean room, then it's not like a straightforward. They have to go through that training first, and somebody has to approve. Same thing, like if there is any room there is protective material, like I was saying, laser, then somebody has to go through the training so that they know how to handle the equipment there. So what they were doing is through email, the email will come, somebody is going to basically see, then they're going to call their manager, then they will say, okay, can you provide a proof for the training that you have done? And then the proof basically goes, and then basically they have to find the owner of the room. Then it goes to the owner of the room, and then the owner basically adds that person. And then there's also, like if somebody is traveling from one country to another and they want like a temporary access, it becomes even more complex, because how do you basically resolve all that? So there is an opportunity there to automate the whole process, right? Like all you have to do is basically the room owners and what is basically needed, what kind of training is needed, link it with that, and people can just submit a request from the facilities module to get access. So this room access could be pretty big, depending, again, same thing with hospitals and medical equipment companies, where if you have medicines or some expensive equipment or a control equipment, then this access could be a big thing for facilities. Escort, special events, parking related, I want my keys to be replaced, lost and found, ERT training, building maps, moves, events. These are all like, safety, security related things that are there, right? So there is, again, in facilities, very similar to HR, there's a lot of time that is going on these activities, and we have automated a lot of things there, and we have some really cool customers that we can reference if needed. By the way, I also wanted to say that today we are not showing you the actual logos and the actual demos from the sites, but if you are interested, because this is a large audience, this is like 100 plus, but if you are interested and if we have access and permission, we can do one-on-one and we can give you some really good demos. So feel free to reach out to us if there is a need for that. So here is an example for the company that I was, a very large company for which we have done the facilities. So you can see the routine tasks here: furniture installation, cube to be moved, shipping and receiving, maintenance, supplies, building systems, safety and security, and a new event to be set up. So let's say if you want to set up a new event for lunch or something, that's the one. And then miscellaneous, right? So again, all done on ServiceNow, nothing outside. Here is the one like for furniture installation. This form I'm sure you are aware of. Like, I mean, this is a very similar form for IT and HR, only the fields are different. Excuse me. So open for manager name, location, short description, detailed description, priority, whether it's an ergonomic request and completed by date. So some of the things. You click on submit, request goes to facilities, acknowledgement goes to the employee, and then from there it can be tracked. Here we are showing an example of building systems, like the HELEC adjustment, like heating and cold adjustment, light adjustment, or power or electrical related issues. Here there's maintenance, like projector bulb replacement, toner printer issues, small repairs, maintenance related to cleaning. Here is an example for event setup, as I was saying, like who's requesting, how long, location, date and time, excuse me, a short description and the long description, click on submit, and the request for event goes there to facilities. There is a safety and security, which is also a big for many large companies. Like the badge replacement, new picture request, badge access, termination deactivation of badge, SCOT, guest ergonomics, safety related, like keys replacement, lost and found, first aid, ERT training, injuries related, parking lot inquiry. So like you can see, there's a lot of things that are there and it's very difficult to track all this through email, right? You send an email, somebody has to respond, it has to go to a proper queue, and maybe people are not there, maybe people are not there, the emails can get lost. The whole idea is to automate these routine tasks. Now I'm ready for the demo. So I'm going to show you two demos from Kloves Inc. One is from the App Store, and the other one is from our demo instance. Both these links are active even for you. You don't need a user ID password. Some of the functionalities will not work because we are not providing the user ID password for that. But you should be able to see some of the very cool features. So let me just focus on, I showed you like a lot of real life examples and slides. I'm just going to focus on a few things that are really, really cool, like 2 or 3 at a time, and we will go from there. So here is Kloves 3. You can see it's running from ServiceNow. It's an enterprise portal. So the key features that I want to showcase here are Google-like search. So, you know, like people say that I don't want to go through the menus. I want like Google-like search, right? And they click on it. Let's say you type Apple iPhone. Now, depending on, it basically searches everywhere in facilities, in HR, in IT, and depending on where you click, it is going to take you to that portal. So let's say if you wanted, what is the policy for Apple iPhone reimbursement, then it is going to take you to HR. But let's say if you just wanted to buy, then it will take you to the IT portal, where you can, you know, access IT portal and say order now, and you can see that it has opened the catalog item as well, right? Where you can see like what is available and what is the cost and all that. So that's one feature that a lot of customers are demanding or asking for like a Google-like search. The second thing I was talking about in the knowledge base when we were talking about HR is that nowadays, you know, like you're familiar with the standard knowledge base where people can build, people can basically search like Google and do self-service and everything. But now videos are taking over. There are a lot of companies that are creating YouTube videos or internal videos. And here is an example that, you know, we can have all these are video links. And you can see everything is on ServiceNow. So I can say basically, you know, a legal video or a marketing video or a finance video, facilities. So if I click on it, it will just open and it will start the video from there itself. And you can search and you can classify the videos. So that's one example that I wanted to show you. On the HR, very similar to the screenshots, you know, here we have a how can we help you icon, help request, you have employee policy, employee changes, HR questions, HR training related, retirement related, salary related, your my request, incidents, approvals, and so on. So very similar to what I showed you in the real life. Now let me also show you the App Store. So App Store has like 30, 35 examples. I can show you this one or two. So let me show you first the facilities one. So like I was showing you the screenshots here, you have very similar. So I want cube to be clean, heating, air conditioning issue, parking permit, lights, water. And as I said, some of these links will not work, but at least it gives you an idea about the classification, like what it is. I want a recycling request, a disposable issue, cleaning issue. I got logged out, I need access to room, and so on. The other one I want to show you is the ABC HR services example. And this is a pretty cool one. You can actually, you have full access, you can chat, you can see like welcome user, you can see like all the branding here is related to like people. HR is all about people. If you click on benefits, a pop-up comes in and you can ask like, I have a salary question, retirement question, medical question, bonus, I want to recommend an employee, update W-4, and so on, right? And there is like a scroller which basically scrolls for the branding. For request, you have like, I want to submit a direct deposit request, home address, I want to update my emergency contact, company has like policies, knowledge base, contact us, and then you have certain reports like benefits, asset reports, events, spot bonus, W2 payroll, etc. Right? And then there's a bunch of stuff related to knowledge base that is there. So this is another deployment example of HR. There are many more. I just thought I will cover two. I think this basically, and if you have, like, if you go to Kloves Inc, click on the App Store, you can actually go and see many others, what we have done in other areas, like, for legal, for marketing, for finance, for IT. Like, this one is a IT one, which we did in 10 languages. So right now, like, say, this is an English language portal, like it's broken request services. But if you change the language, let's say to Chinese, now it is in Chinese language. And this is all done in ServiceNow, and you can take a look later. So that was basically my demos. Let's open for question and answers. Julia, please go ahead. You can start typing the questions if you have.
Yes.
And then we'll try to answer the question.
So I received 3 questions. I already answered them because they were about if we can share the webinar or if it will be recorded. Maybe you missed it at the beginning. Yes, the webinar is recorded, and if you send me an email at julia@klovesinc.com or sales@klovesinc.com, you can receive the link of the webinar. The third question was about demand management as well. And if you want to know more about demand management, please email us and we can chat offline. Okay. Do you guys have other questions?
We do have webinar. We do have webinars. 2 webinars that we did. They're also on the like if you Google search, you should be able to get those. But Julia can also send the demand management webinars as well.
All right. So do you guys have other questions? This is the time. If not, I guess we're done. Thank you very much for attending. And
so Julia, what we are going to do is let's wait for a few more minutes, 2-3 minutes, so in case people are still trying to write the questions or thinking about it.
Yeah.
I hope this webinar was useful for the people. We had like close to 100 people today. So let's see. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes before we call it off.
Okay, there's one more question that asks, can you talk something about SDLC Scrum process?
Sure. So basically, that's the process that we follow for getting the requirements. So as you know, the SDLC is like a module that it's a plugin that you can enable in ServiceNow. And what we do is, when we get the requirements, we capture all these requirements in the SDLC module. And that way, we don't have to track the Excel sheets and everything. So let's say if you're doing an HR deployment, then we would use the SDLC module to capture all the requirements. And everyone is basically working towards it, working on it. And people can know when is who is working on what, when it is fixed, when it's ready for testing, and the customers can also participate in that. So if you are waiting for them to respond to something, they can just quickly change the status and go from there. That actually avoids a lot of going back and forth. So that's really a good tool that we use in Kloves Inc. So we're going to wait for 1 more minute. If people have questions, please go ahead and type the questions. If not, after a minute, I'm going to close the session. Again, thank you so much for attending this webinar series. We are trying to get these special webinars hosted every month. So I'm hoping to see you next month with some other customers. We'll try to get customers as well to speak so that we can also share the real-life examples. These series are more focused on knowledge sharing within the community, within the ServiceNow community. The idea is to share the knowledge, also spread the word of the power of ServiceNow, what are the things that are possible in ServiceNow. And as I was saying, if you have questions, please feel free to call us, email us. Also, I shared that we are actively hiring. So if somebody is interested, then please feel free to send your resume, and we'll take a look and we'll go from there.
There's one more question.
Julia, do you have any?
What is list decoration attribute?
What is what?
It says, what is list _ decoration attribute?
Yeah, probably this is like a technical question,
right.
like like how the programming is done. So we don't have right now anybody technical on the webinar, so I won't be able to answer this question. But you can always post this kind of question on the community. You can go to community.service-now.com and post, and I'm sure either we can reply or somebody can reply. But I believe this question is like off topic, not related to HR or facilities. It's a technical one. So as I said, you can post this question on the community and get an answer there.
Okay, I have one more question that says, if we worked on recent Service Watch Geneva, Kamal?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they're asking if we have worked on recent Service Watch Geneva.
Because it's very, very new, again, it's not related to HR or facilities. We do have trained people on Service Watch, but I believe we have done only one project on Service Watch. But again, it has nothing to do with HR or facilities.
Perfect. All right.
Good. I think with that, thank you again. Thank you, everyone. We're going to close the webinar now. Thank you all for joining. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. And again, if you want the recording, Julia at klovesinc.com. Thank you so much.